All right, and then I'm gonna just share my screen so we can take a look at that.
Do we know what the new classification would be?
Yeah, let me pull up my email because I know we had talked about, I think.
I think they're at a C and an E was proposed.
Yeah, that sounds right. Let me just double check. While I'm finding that information, did anyone have any questions or comments on what they're seeing in front of them?
Not on the first page.
And I was looking at old minutes. It does look like when this was presented to the committee back in November for the first time, it indicated changing the position from grade C to grade E.
That's what I had as well, Eric.
Yeah. I was just looking for a way to, just confirming what I can remember because I
Yeah,
remembered the C to E as well.
that sounds right. And I would just mention, we considered a similar regrade for the land use coordinator position, Amy's position. Um, and then I think ultimately ended up going with a grade D. Um, it was kind of right on the line between a D and an E based on complexity, et cetera.
Yeah. Do
Um,
you,
so, so on this page here, the very first bullet, it says performing paralegal level review. Because paralegal is kind of a pigeonholed job. I was wondering if there was a way to say this to imply what that meant, because it sort of indicates you'd be required to have paralegal skills.
Yeah, that one did catch my eye as well. Sort of wonder if we just want to remove that last clause there, um,
Um,
and say at a high level or something like that. Proofread police reports, search warrants, and other materials for accuracy and content at a high level instead of tying it to, a profession or a position.
yeah, I think I'd be more comfortable with that.
All right, we can make that update then.
I think that makes sense too, Holly. Because isn't a paralegal like a specific certification or training?
Yeah,
And we
that's what
don't
I was
require
sort
that.
of, yeah, I was concerned about that language being a little too specific. Um, on the maintain and update the daily log, I was just curious, does this position do all of that, or do the officers do it as well as? It would be the one, two, three, fourth bullet down. Maintain and update the daily log of service calls.
Yeah.
I think it's two more bullets down, Chris, from what you have highlighted.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yep. So I just wondered, there's an
It looks like,
implication that they're the only position that does this, and I was asking the question, if other people do, it would be more as needed if the officers are doing their own input. I don't know how this works there.
Or is it that this person will be putting everybody's rough jottings into some kind of,
Exactly. That's what I was trying to get a sense of. You know, it's more complicated if they're translating the doctor's notes into a report versus, kind of thing. Because then it says provide training to officers in their use.
yeah, we've also got this is kind of duplicated. Because it says maintain the daily log of service calls and then
Chris, you
maintain.
keep cutting in and out your
Oh,
voice.
do you have control to hear me?
It's spotty.
Oh, okay. Let me
Would it help to turn off your camera? Sometimes that seems to help a little. Did we lose you, Chris?
We may have.
Maybe he's logging back in.
Yeah, because we lost the screen share on it too. So
I have the screen share still up.
You-
Oh, no, I don't anymore.
No.
Now
There you are.
it's done. Oh, my camera is like,
Oh, now Jim's the host.
I don't know why I have such a like see every pore on my face camera.
Maybe you have it zoomed in or
maybe wondering
something.
why I've asked you all here tonight. So am I.
I keep seeing these like very alarming, like there's huge storms coming this weekend. Have you
Really?
heard anything about this?
No.
Well, yesterday when I saw it, it was south of us, like down, like more in the mid-Atlantic states. But now it seems, I don't know, I'm just double checking because it seems like maybe it's moving up a little bit.
U.S. Weather Service still seems pretty calm about that.
All right. I've got 4 inches on Sunday, 1 on Monday. But I don't know. See, I'm a teacher, so I watch the snowstorms like a hawk.
So the National Weather Service has still got it as a chance of snow Sunday night, 40% precip, but they don't give inches yet.
All right, well, that doesn't sound too scary.
I've got AccuWeather as I get that app on my phone, and they're not predicting it. They're saying weather, but they're not refining like inch totals at all. So I've got nothing.
All right,
on that
well,
front.
not there yet, I guess.
Okay, sorry to disappoint you, Rayloon.
Well, yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean,
I know.
it's still only Tuesday evening. The
Yeah.
weather could probably
True.
change another 24 times between now and then. So this is New England.
I don't know if any of you follow Dave Hayes
Yeah.
on Facebook. I'm sure he's rooting for a nor'easter because
Oh, yes.
He needs
He
something to
does.
report.
he seems to be a real snow groupie.
Yeah.
He loves it. I'll see what he's saying, actually.
Yeah, I just pulled him up. I was talking about a geomagnetic storm continuing tonight.
Oh, did
Which
anyone
is-
see lights last night? I looked, but I didn't see anything.
I was probably asleep by the time that all went through.
I looked, it was cloudy.
I'm just looking to see if Chris emailed us, but
I
I
know,
don't
I
see
was
any
just thinking
updated.
that too.
Snow showers tomorrow afternoon, according to Dave Hayes. Scattered snow showers at night. Coatings up to 1 inch by Thursday morning. He just says substantial snowstorm possible by Monday.
All right, okay. I'll take that.
There was a comment on this job description about serving as a matron when necessary, and I thought that was kind of pigeonholing if it was a
A little
female
old
employee.
fashioned, doesn't it?
I'm sorry?
That sounds a little old fashioned.
Well, I actually Googled it, and
That's a
the
title
term
part.
matron can be used for a male or female.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I don't know if we should just change it to be a little more specific of, I think Chris is coming on.
All right. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes,
Sorry about that.
welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
We've been
Um,
discussing the weather.
yeah, okay, good. Well, there's a lot to discuss there. It's
So
been,
Chris, I think you were
Oh.
saying that fourth bullet down was covered elsewhere?
It looks
Yeah.
like it duplicates a bit at the end of the second bullet and talks about the kind of the same as the start of the fourth bullet.
Okay. Okay, that's why. Yep. Um,
so we can make that update for sure. Just remove one or the other.
you're cutting in and out again, Chris.
Oh dear. Um,
That's better.
That's better.
all right. I'll try. Well, hopefully it'll continue working.
Okay. So
Do you
is there
know- Yeah, go ahead, Holly.
is there some way that we could combine those two pieces? Or pull it out of the other bullet? Oh no. It's gone. Oh, there it is.
I rewrote it once for Chief Pachorik before I left, and I can see some of the changes I suggested, but some of them seem to have got lost. So
I think we need to, okay, yep.
I would argue to get rid of the first part of fourth bullet point and start it as maintain a variety of databases to aid in locating people, places, services, and procedures.
Yep.
Provide training to officers in their use and research new applications or databases that will benefit the day-to-day operations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion.
yeah, so that is databases are one thing.
Correct. Yeah, where it seems like fourth bullet point kind of combines. I mean, you're putting the daily log into a database, but that's just one, and that really kind of what you're doing with the database in that capacity seems like it fits more at the second line where you're operating telephone radio systems, dispatching calls, like the logging of the calls, etc. seems to fit more with the second bullet point main purpose.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
No, I think that's a good suggestion.
The the point you'd made about the matron, I was just looking at it as well. Apparently, there's a police matron as an actual formal role within law enforcement agencies, according to the National Criminal Justice Association.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's using that term because it's
I mean
designated as such.
I mean it's somebody who is responsible for female detainees and
or vice versa.
Yeah.
Or a male that comes in with
yeah, but I mean the department is, got only one female officer, so most of the officers can deal with male prisoners.
Are we down to one female only?
Do we have more than one? I thought we only had one.
Well, we had Rissa and Jen, but I don't know. Rissa left.
Rissa left.
Right. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Which,
All right. I mean, just look at one other. I had a question on the operate in the emergency operations. What, the one above matron or two above. So my question is, I know the emergency operations command post is called into action as needed, but is this individual operating the command post or just participating in it? Because it's implying that they're running the whole emergency operation.
we would have to ask Chief Pachoric what he meant by that, I think.
Because further on, in the work environment, it says may be called on for 24-hour or under prolonged pressure for emergency situations. So to me, this sounds like this is occasional participation in this versus operating the whole post.
Yeah. I could see the potential, maybe instead of operate within the emergency operations command post, as opposed to just in.
How about something like supports the emergency operations command post? Because the
think that could
command
work,
post
too.
is going to be operated or directed by an officer or the chief.
How about assist?
Assist would be a good, yeah. Assist the, yeah, I think that's good.
That makes,
Assists in the operation. Assists in.
Just
Yeah.
the assist the post
well, you-
with documenting as needed. I think that's
Okay.
good.
I
Yeah,
see what you're saying with that.
yeah. Okay,
that makes it clear that they're not going to be running it.
right.
Are we sure they're not running it? I don't really know what it looks like.
Well, I would think that the running of it would be like that's you're talking like formal command, like that becomes a law enforcement specific, like you like rank wise, like you I wouldn't be like yeah, I don't know how much what I'm trying to say, but I can see the difference. It's I they're not running it. Like the chief would be running the emergency operations command post.
Right. Even on a very small, like not emergency kind of basis, when we had the town 350, I was supporting the parade, and we met with all the key emergency people, and it was someone from each department, and it was either an officer or a chief who participated in those meetings. So I definitely think assist is a great suggestion there.
That makes sense. Can we just go back to this matron term again for a second? Because
Sure.
I also did that search of what, and it describes how it's specifically a female who can stand in case like we said, the one female officer that we have isn't there. But does that create sort of a strange, like, what if this person who holds this job left and a male was hired?
Right.
Like
That's
that's
why I wanted to visit this term to see if maybe instead of calling
yeah.
it a matron, we could define the role.
Well, I mean, it sounds like if a man was hired to do this job, that wouldn't be applicable. Like they couldn't be the matron.
It could be if
Yeah.
a female officer brought a man in.
Well, when I looked at, and I'm just following like AI here, but like matron under police officer search, it sort of says a police matron is a female law enforcement role established to oversee female and juvenile detainees if they need to be searched or if the woman who is our police officer wasn't there, and the only woman in the office was the person in this role that we're talking about,
Right.
they would be the one that would provide the care and the search of the female that had been arrested.
I suspect that is exactly what Chief Paciorek wants.
Right.
Right, right. But what if a male is hired and this is part of the job description?
Well, if this is part of the job description, then a male won't be hired, will they?
Well, then it's not equal opportunity job.
It's a type of, it's a, you know, a government defined position. You know, it is a government job position, matron, right?
It's not formalized. I don't know. I'm just reading here.
I mean, I would imagine if the female officer was on it at work at that moment, she would operate as the matron. But it's
So,
only when that officer isn't there.
But what if a male is hired for this job?
And I guess he'll have to get like the town clerk or somebody to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to hire.
I
they have
think
to have
that
another female officer always there, I guess.
no, other towns, because I know, through conversation that, we have had a female officer need to go to another town to help in that role,
Oh, really?
when we have not had someone available. So I do feel there's mutual aid with that. So if we did have a male in the role, I just almost would want to.
I see where you're going. Like it could be. I would almost say like that would be wrapped into the next bullet point, variety of related duties as necessary.
That's nice and vague.
Well, I know.
Other duties as assigned.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like we've all had that at some point in a job that we've had in the past where it's
Yeah.
like, well,
I think probably Chief Paciorek is trying to demonstrate all the level of kind of complexity and the variety of things that the person in this role is being asked to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, that is, you know, that does seem significant. I don't like the way it limits it for the
Right.
future, because we're not dealing with people necessarily. We're dealing with position descriptions. What if, I like that language, what if we had it be, you know, when applicable instead of when necessary? And then if it was a man, it would never be applicable. I don't know.
almost like in a parentheses. Like you could say service matron when necessary, parentheses, if applicable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like that-
Would that potentially solve that? Like where
Yeah.
if it's applicable, that like if it's a female who gets hired in the position, or I know we have a female in there right now, it would certainly be applicable.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's a the thing is, I don't know if there's a comparable male related position, like you said, in the other scenario where there's a female officer with a male detainee.
I think in those cases, there's always going to be at least one male officer around. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. But then theoretically, what if there weren't? You know, I guess is the hypothetical. I don't know if.
Chris, do you have any thoughts on what to do here?
Yeah.
I mean, I like adding the if applicable just to cover it.
yeah.
And then, I mean, the last bullet is just our standard catch-all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I would say put the if applicable in parentheses just to kind of I think that just better sets it apart from a structural standpoint of the description.
Yeah, I just don't like the term there because I think we're just like slanting the job into a gender role, which okay, I don't want to hang on this right now because we can revisit that.
And supervision received.
Okay. Let's look at this. I was confused by the sentence. The police administrative assistant, first of all, should we put the title there or just this position? And then I don't understand this. Is expected to solve most problems of detail or unusual situations by adapting methods, laws, bylaws, ordinances, court standards, or legal rulings. Like, holy moly, what does that mean?
Good question. I suspect that could all be simplified to in accordance with the law.
To me, it reads that they expect this position to
Operate fairly independently.
be independent and to solve problems that come up based on their knowledge of whatever, all these things, methods, laws, bylaws, ordinances, court standards, and legal rulings, which is a lot. That's maybe why they had that thing about paralegal level review. Although, yeah, it sounds like kind of operating almost like, I don't know, are officers looking at court standards and legal rulings?
Yeah, I mean, to me,
It's a little surprising.
yeah.
Seems more like an attorney.
This smacks of a sentence that was cut and pasted. Frankly, I think it could almost be cut out in favor of the previous sentence anyway.
Yeah.
We have in accordance with standard practice.
Yeah. That almost would make more sense to take it out. I agree. And then the comment reviewed for technical adequacy, do we mean accuracy there? I wasn't sure.
It must be. It must be accuracy.
Yeah.
And maybe what he's trying to say is that this position is expected to work independently, produce high level things that don't need a whole lot of
Right.
oversight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would argue that switch it to accuracy. I'm with you on accuracy.
Yeah, I think what he's trying to get across here is he's not going to be micromanaging you.
Right.
Right.
That this person needs to know what they're doing and they're checked because they're supervised, but
If you get it done, he doesn't really care how.
Yeah, and even further, just to kind of further reinforce the elimination of that sentence under the supervision received and reading the judgment and complexity, it's talking about, yeah, this person's going to need to examine, analyze, evaluate facts and circumstances surrounding individual problems, situations, transactions, determine actions to be taken within the limits of standard or accepted practices, using large body of policies, practices, and precedents, which may be conflicts or conflicting at times. Like, I think that kind of is the whole point of that sentence that I think that he was trying to get across. So
This is under the judgment.
yeah, the judgment and complexity kind of
Gotcha.
like it goes a little bit more in detail about like I think that's what he was trying to get at with that
Mhm.
sentence from the supervision received section.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's trying to get across the information that this person operates at a pretty high level.
So he calls the position name again in the second to last sentence. You caught it at the top, but there's another reference.
That was a case where I think that's a holdover from my rewrite where whenever there was a wide variety of synonyms used for the name of the position.
Yeah.
So I tried to get them all consistent usage.
Gotcha.
Which I can certainly respect. Like, yeah, we need to, let's be consistent, and if we're going to be calling it out, we should be calling it out the same way each time.
And I mean, not that maybe this isn't on the table, but it almost seems to me like that's based on everything that's being described here. It almost feels like administrative assistant doesn't line up with the duties that are being described here.
What he really wants is another police chief.
I mean, I don't know what a better name is, but it feels like administrative assistant has a slightly different connotation than what we're reading.
Mm-hmm. And maybe by changing the position title, it would set it apart from the other administrative assistant positions.
Right. I mean, maybe the other administrative assistants have a similar high level of performance that's required just in a different area. That I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe, the point is that the work that this person is doing has a very high potential impact on safety and
even legal issues too.
Legality. Yeah.
I didn't have anything under nature and purpose. Did anyone else?
Almost like a staff assistant, I would almost argue, instead of administrative assistant, would be a little like, I'm just thinking from my background in education. Like, I've worked at colleges and universities where administrative assistant is very different than a staff assistant in terms of scope of work and level of complexity and depth of responsibility. I don't know how and if that translates here, but just like I was just thinking about, like, does it need a different job title? I don't know.
It almost feels like office manager or something, like.
Yeah, almost even beyond that, like a staff assistant is like it's a lot of like, yes, some of the lower level, but a lot of mid-level type responsibilities organizationally.
I'm just Googling some terms. Administrative specialist.
Departmental assistant.
Departmental assistant. And then executive assistant supports high level staff.
I don't know. I mean, maybe we go back to Chief Pachorek and maybe we ask him, like, do you feel like different name?
Well, I guess the question is could we generally approve the position as the description itself with the caveat, like, with the potential to rename? Like, would we need to revisit this as a board before before we can like go live with it per I don't know what I'm trying to say quite there.
It would
Mhm.
really
Yeah, yeah.
it would
What do
really
you
be
think,
for-
Chris? Or sorry,
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to ask Chris because he might know what the other administrative assistants do in the building, and if they have equal levels of sort of expertise, but in a different area.
Well, it does seem like if we're going to regrade the position, it should probably be something other than administrative assistant, because administrative assistant is where, the other administrative assistants currently are. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, whether that's office assistant or staff assistant, I'm sort of, I don't feel strongly about it one way or another. I would say you could go ahead and maybe okay this tonight and just ask the chief, what do you want to call this?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Is
Maybe-
this a question? Do they sit like at the front desk and receive people who come in? Is it like a front desk position?
Yes.
I think it's that
Yeah.
and
If you
I
go
think it's that
into
and
the
more.
window, I think they sit right there. I
Sounds
think
like
they're the first person, like if you go to get into the police department, that's who would be there, but they're back at their desk, but they do come to the window.
Mm.
it sounds like what we should do, and in fact probably should have done way back at the start of this process, is sit down with Chief Pachorik and hammer all this out before writing the
Yeah,
announcement.
yeah, yeah.
Well, Chief Pachurik wrote this description, right, for us to kind of review and consider regrading.
Yeah.
hmm
So maybe we just go back with some of these questions. I mean, it's important to get it right as best we can.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like the big picture of I think the whole thing, the reason why he wanted to bring it to us in the first place was the regrade based on like the general from what I'm seeing in here, I definitely see it being higher than where it has been. I'm looking at this confidentiality piece, like it calls out the records access officer. That is a formally defined role within state municipal agencies, where that's a legislative requirement. I actually serve as a secondary records access officer for the college that I work at.
hmm
And so it's myself as the chief student records officer, and who's the secondary one, and the main person is our executive VP of finance and administration. And so, the nature of that role, like they usually, so to have somebody serve in that capacity is not nothing.
Yeah.
hmm Yep.
So it sounds like we need to do another round of comments and questions with him directly.
It would be good I didn't know if he was going to be on tonight. It would have been good if he was, but um
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, at least to kind of clarify some of these little areas, like not little necessarily in all of them, but like some of these title. I think that even something as simple as that, like just to kind of make sure that we're all on the same page. We certainly
Mhm.
can have suggestions, but we wouldn't want to, change it without his input and or consent.
Yeah.
right.
It feels like a lot of management and coordination.
Yeah.
Well, it's the one position that is there, for everyone versus a couple of support positions, so you're going to be the go-to.
Yeah.
Under confidentiality, that's further down that category. We were just talking about the records access officer.
Yeah.
Should we, before the comma, put an as, first point of contact as the records officer?
Yeah, I think that makes it clearer.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Comply with any and all legal requests. Yes, that's not nothing. I had to respond to my first subpoena recently. That was fun.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, okay, so are all the job descriptions, Chris, with recommended minimum qualifications? Is that a header that's used on all of them?
Yeah, I believe so. I think we got that from Collins Center.
Can you try that again, Chris?
Can you hear me?
Barely. You cut in and out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh.
Right, he's writing in the. Yes, the Collins Center gave that to us. Okay, great.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so my working with job descriptions are either required or preferred words that are used a lot. And
Preferred may be better than recommended.
well, no, if this is what
Required.
they said, then we should be clear within the body of this, what's required versus preferred. Because we do say minimum of associates and a baccalaureate preferred. And then in a discipline related to law enforcement, public admin, and or business admin, or 3 to 5 years of legal or accounting banking experience. So by legal, do we mean in the like in like a law office? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I could see like a paralegal would be
Okay, so
somebody who could potentially like could parlay their 3 to 5 years experience as a paralegal
okay.
into that meeting that recommended qualification.
Okay. Then there's the next line is duties involve application of semi-complex procedures requiring extensive knowledge of the legal system, laws, and bylaws. That's not a qualification. That's
Yeah.
a duty.
The duty.
I
Yeah,
think that should come out of there.
I think so too. And we've certainly described that above. That's been described.
Yeah. Then the next line, understanding of accounts payable and accounts receivable methods is vital. Is that like preferred or required? To me, the word vital, I don't know if that describes.
Yeah, maybe instead of is vital on the end would be something like a comprehensive understanding of accounts payable and accounts receivable methods, or something similar to something in that vein.
Or could it say something like 1 to 3 years of experience with accounts payable and accounts receivable? So that,
Well,
I mean, because if we're talking about a qualification, it's got to be something that they have done, that they're bringing to the job.
Right. Or could we just drop the is vital and just say understanding of accounts payable and accounts receivable methods?
We could. I think we were just kind of maybe we were projecting like the whole is vital. Do we put like a something quantifiable in place of is vital? Like what to him is, if he included it as a reason, like does he have can he give us an example of somebody, like if somebody has 6 months of experience, like I could read a book on accounts payable and accounts receivable methods, and I could say that I have an understanding of it.
But above
but it's clear to me that he wants somebody who doesn't just, hasn't just read a book about it, but has
Right.
actually done it. And so is there a way that we can quantify that in a way that fits into the whole concept of minimum qualifications?
I guess is required. I mean, versus vital. I don't know. Just the word vital just doesn't fit.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I definitely think we need to get rid of it. It's do we just drop it, or do we, like, again, this might be a situation for us to go back to chief and say, well, what is that you said is vital? Like, what are you really trying to get at?
Right.
Are
Yeah.
how extensive is the experience, is the understanding that you're asking for?
Right.
I like saying is required.
Well,
What
could
do you,
well, then it continues for me, as is the ability to operate specialized equipment such as cruisers. I I I think
I
these
know.
some of these skills can be learned on the job. They don't have to be part of a qualification.
I feel like that starting with as is the ability to operate specialized equipment, that list of things that have experience with feels a little bit different to me than like understanding accounts payable and accounts receivable. That seems like reasonable to say that's required.
Right.
But all those other things, it's true, like, either prior experience or willingness or capacity to learn. I don't know, something that's like, I understand they want to name these things as qualification, that you've known these things.
Well, and I think he might also be talking about physical ability.
Oh yeah.
But that's later. There's physical ability stuff too,
Oh, okay.
and motor and visual skills for fingerprinting. It's all talked about there.
Well, they do restraints. So do they need to be trained in restraints? Is that a minimum qualification to have restraint training? I just looked forward at the
It talks about that being as part of the matron responsibilities and police related duties.
yeah.
I think that um, the skills you learn on the job aren't require or minimum qualifications. And I think that all these specialized things, I think are more specific to the organization that this position would support. And so you would learn those skills on the job versus needing those qualifications before you got there.
Yeah.
It almost like it's the that last sentence, the as is, like that's something you assess either as part of the application process, and it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe they don't have it, but can they learn it?
Well, you could put under, minimum qualifications, something to the effect of, like, if he wants that accounts payable, accounts receivable in some qualification, you could put preference or preferred experience, with a police department. You could put some bullet there that would indicate
experience with blah 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 is
right
preferred.
is preferred, exactly, but not
Yeah,
it's
I
so
can see you.
specific. And to me, they operate specialized equipment like a cruiser. I know this person may take the cruiser for an oil change or tires to be changed, but they're not using the cruiser in the sense of how we would read
Think of a
using
police
a
officer
cruiser.
using a cruiser.
They're not doing high speed chases. That you're saying.
Yeah.
I live on Sugarloaf Street, and sometimes, every once in a while, in the middle of the night, I hear like a police officer fly down the road. It's always a little scary.
Can we take cruisers out of there?
with specialized equipment such as automated finger identification systems, self-check equipment, defibrillators, and other medical equipment is preferred.
So do we want to put a word in place of vital or call that out to ask if that's
Yeah,
required?
is like I like your. Is it required or is it preferred?
Yeah.
Stick to those
So,
terms.
so Chris, that would be for the accounts payable and accounts receivable. Maybe just, yeah.
Yeah, if you can hear me okay, my read is that's just a requirement of the position. And so I think you just take out is vital and just say that's one of the recommended minimum qualifications.
But is it understanding or is it the application of it that's required? Because to I think it was Eric's point, you could have a basic understanding of it, but is there some experience required in that?
Yeah, like is he looking for somebody who has already done that work in
Right.
a in a day in day out capacity, professional like work capacity, or is he just looking for somebody who has a like I said has a book knowledge of conceptual, like have you actually done the accounting?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're thinking like, let's say the person who's there now left, and we had to
Mhm.
post this position and try to find applicants.
Right.
Would a requirement be that they have experience with accounts payable and accounts
Right.
receivable?
So
Or
then
right.
instead of the word understanding, then experience with
Maybe we
accounts.
could say experience with accounts payable and accounts receivable preferred, because that gives us that. But and we obviously will send all these our questions and suggested edits back
Right.
to Chief Pachoric and see what he says. Experience with accounts payable and accounts receivable is preferred. Prior experience managing accounts payable and accounts receivable is preferred.
So just to be clear, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, to be clear, are we saying that the understanding of accounts payable and accounts receivable methods is that preferred, or is it experience with is preferred?
I think. Well, I don't know. I'm just one voice, but I was going to say experience.
I think that's a question for the chief to answer. I would almost
Yeah.
argue like we need to know where he's at, where
Mhm.
his mind is.
I mean, I also think we have to consider if we were in a position that we had to hire this, we would want to find a qualified person. We would also want it to be general. We want a wide enough net that we would get some applicants that were qualified.
I guess one thing we probably should ask him is how much of this is he willing to train somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or able to train somebody, perhaps.
Yeah. Which are the non-negotiables for prior knowledge, and which are
right.
Yeah.
With the right person, we'll teach you.
But yeah, if nobody in the department knows anything about accounts receivable, then that's required.
Yeah, right. If this person is in charge of doing all the accounts receivable and payable for the whole police department, then it's required.
Yeah.
Good point.
So it seems like another iteration of bouncing this back to Mr. Pachoric is in order.
Yeah. kind of standard, right? The physical skills description.
Yeah. Yeah, that seemed pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
We still have the question of the matron, though, on that first paragraph of physical skills.
Yeah,
Because again, it's there, but this is if it's a female employee, we're implying. And I guess we
Yeah.
need some clarity of that.
that
Although
might be an
presumably
interesting question for legal. Like, is it legal for us to post a position that is specifically only for women?
I mean, given that it is required that departments have a woman or a woman or woman officer on hand to do these duties or available to do some specific duties, then I don't think there's any legal prohibition on hiring somebody to do them. I mean, I believe there is a legal requirement about having, you know,
Having somebody who having access to somebody who can perform that duty.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Although you said, Holly, some of the other towns will request a female officer from another
Well, only
location.
because I know our female officers have done backup for
Yeah.
other
Mm.
communities when they need a female.
Right.
So, it could be addressed in some way, maybe, if applicable. I don't know. So,
It seems like kind of a big requirement to be able to restrain people. If this person is being asked to put their hands on people who are in custody,
or search a person.
yeah, that's
Yeah, especially
significant.
since there's probably some training that somebody doing that needs to undergo.
I would
Yeah,
hope.
there is indications that there is training to serve that matron role in a formal capacity. It's probably incorporated for police officers would be my assumption, but then if you're not, it exists.
Yeah.
The fine motor skills and hand-eye coordination. It, it just seems like it's heavily weighed here, and I'm not getting that. I understand fingerprinting might require some dexterity, but firearms licensing processing doesn't. Document stuff doesn't. Matron duties, again, is mentioned here, so that's the same question, how we're going to address that. So the fine motor skills and hand-eye coordination, I don't know if there's a better way to say that.
Yeah, I mean, firearms licensing processing requires, the demanding technical ability of typing.
I'm not a typist, so maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Really,
It also includes handling sensitive information, which isn't a motor skill.
Yeah.
Right.
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 It just seems like
Yeah, maybe rewrite that one.
that one just seems a little,
basically.
I would almost argue like the motor skills, stopping it right after the fingerprinting side. Like, yes, that makes sense. The fingerprinting motor skills, if you're actually taking the print, yeah.
yeah. And if the matron duties are incorporated, being able to, I guess,
Yeah. What if we
do all
just
that.
took out the middle sentence. So it's just duties require the ability to operate standard office equipment, including telephones, computers, and related technology. Tasks may require precision, attention, and controlled motor movements under occasionally challenging conditions. I mean, maybe we want to leave the fingerprinting thing in there, but
Yeah, to be honest, that last sentence seems kind of, you may be required to move your body and do things.
under occasionally challenging conditions while someone is pelting you with.
Frankly, I would just leave a full stop after the word technology and delete everything else.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that reads better.
Yeah, I could take a look at our administrative assistant job description and see, if there's anything else they note in there. Because it seems like motor skills should be comparable. And this is pretty
I don't
boilerplate.
know. I have a question about I don't know legally, like the legal requirement to not discriminate against people with disabilities. So let's say there was someone who had a vision issue, but they used technology to compensate, to accommodate that. Can we legally say that you have to be able to do all these things like maintain visual attention during tasks requiring fine detail, reviewing case materials, conducting fingerprinting? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but
No, I think part of the point of these is so that you can't be sued if if someone can't physically perform those aspects of the job.
Okay, so if someone, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I worked with people in the school who were almost completely blind, and they did everything using these programs that could read everything out loud to them. And
right. Well, and it's also the basis for a conversation around a reasonable accommodation potentially.
yeah.
But at least you need to be able to say, okay, you are not able to, meet these visual skills requirements. What do we need to do to, compensate for that fact in your position?
And is that accommodation reasonable for the
Right.
for the needs of the position and the department and the town?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I just wanted to raise it. I didn't want to set us up for some kind of legal problem.
So it sounds like there's a lot for me to send back to John. I'm going to go through this and see if I can clean up some of or at least highlight some of the issues we've kind of brought up beyond what I've noted in the margins here, the matron issue in particular, and just anything that seems like, yes, this person works in a police department, but are they going to be, tackling people or doing any of that kind of stuff?
Right.
So yeah, I'll try to get that cleaned up and I'll send it back to John.
I appreciate how specific he was. I feel like it really helped us do this well.
Yeah, yep, it's very specific. Is there any appetite to get into the principal assessor? I know we're already at 7:00, so
I have to drop out now regardless. So
I frankly thought we were going to be a lot quicker. So I think unless there's some urgency, if we could do it at the next meeting.
Yeah, maybe just take a couple minutes to figure out when that next meeting is.
Right. So we had landed on February 10th, but that was 6 months ago, and it sounds like at least a couple people can't make that anymore. Do we have thoughts on another date instead?
I know I might have been one of those people that said the 10th wasn't good, but I can make the 10th work now.
on the other hand,
Okay.
I still think it's not a good fit.
Yeah. I've now have a family commitment that evening, so I would not be able to make the 10th work.
Okay,
The 11th would be fine, or yes, the 11th would be fine,
I've got a select board meeting on the 11th, I believe.
or the 12th, or the 13th. Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I'd be open. Yeah, I mean, we could do the 12th or the last week in February is another option.
The 12th looks open on my end.
Me too. Do we want to do the 5:30 still, or no? I have it for 5:30 on my calendar for the 10th.
Yeah. I'm fine with 5:30 or 6 or whatever people decide.
I can make 5:30 on the 12th.
I
Um,
could.
Me too.
Eric,
I could
can
make 6
everybody-
as well.
everyone can do the 12th?
Yes.
Okay, I can make it work. So, what time do we want to do? 5:30?
I'm flexible on
5:30
the
is good.
time from 5:30 to later if it makes it would be easier for you to do it at 5:30 versus at 6.
Either's fine for me.
Okay.
Any time is fine with me.
All right.
Let's-
5:30 then work for people?
Yeah, let's do 5:30 on the 12th. I'll
All right.
send you an invite.
Okay, 5:30 on the 12th sounds great.
Chris, when you do the agenda and you do meeting link, it goes out to, like a warning message that it's broken. So I guess you're gonna have to just put the whole link like you did in the follow-up email moments before I got on.
Yeah, or you can go to the calendar on the website. I don't know why it's showing up that way for you, but yeah, that's another option.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
why I would be giving you an issue, but okay. Well, I sent out an update, so I'll see everyone on the 12th, and we'll see if maybe John can join us for that one, and we'll try and get this across the finish line.
All right, that'd be great.
Okay,
All right. I'll
All
see
right,
you guys
thanks
later.
everyone.
thank
All
you
right.
all.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.